What is up, awesome people of the internet? Guys, apologies for the lateness. A little bit of late start for the day. However, we have an awesome show for you today. Welcome to Quita in the Mornings. My name is Quita, and we are in the mornings talking about some women's hoops. So make sure to grab your coffee, grab your tea, grab whatever you need to grab, because today we're talking about the transfer portal. The thing and the gift, really. It really is a gift. It really is a gift, the transfer portal. It's a gift that keeps on giving. Constant things to talk about every single day when it comes to the transfer portal. And today, I kind of want to just give you all an overall update with what's happening in the transfer portal and just sort of talk through the changes that we have seen in women's college basketball when it's come to the transfer portal. Okay, the days of every single day there being a breaking news from the portal, those days are kind of gone. We are now easing into the sort of ending of the transfer portal, and I thought this would be a good time to just sort of go through the history of the portal and kind of just give y'all some random information that is probably not necessary, but y'all know me. Y'all know I like my random information. And I'm going to share it, and we're going to talk about it together, okay? And then we're going to talk a little bit about WNBA towards the end. But for the most part, the conversation today is specifically on the transfer portal, okay? And again, apologies for the lateness. We are getting it together, and stuff is in the works in the future for it to not be a times vary type of deal, okay? Okay. All right, so let's talk about the transfer portal. All right, so the transfer portal was created by the NCAA. The NCAA is the entity that runs women's college basketball, or really any most sports when it comes to college. All right, so the NCAA, they are the entity in charge of Division I, Division II, Division III basketball. And they created the transfer portal to allow players, student athletes, I should say, the opportunity to go somewhere else if stuff is not working for them. All right, they have this new opportunity as a thing where they can now go somewhere else. And I want to talk through the history of it. Now, on the screen, you see a graphic that shows the transfer portal as of last year and then this year. But I also want to just talk through the 2019 to 2020 season that really did kind of start up a lot of the transfer portal stuff. So to just level set with y'all, according to women's basketball blog, wbbblog.com, for the 2019 to 2020 season, we saw 490 women's basketball players in the transfer portal. All right, that's the earliest data I can see when it comes to the transfer portal. 490 for the 2021-2022 season. 490. All right. Then we fast forward several years. We go into last year, where we had 1,361 transfers enter the portal. Of that 1,361 transfers, not everybody made it to a new team. Because just because you enter your name in the hat for the portal does not mean you are going to get picked up. And that's a risk that every single player that enters the transfer portal, that's a risk that they have to face. So of that 1,361 transfers, or people who entered their name in the transfer portal, 957 of those players actually received a new school. And also, only 38 players just withdrew their name, and they pretty much just go back to the team they were on. They're like, actually, never mind. I withdraw. Team, take me back. So you may be wondering, okay, if 1,361 players entered the portal, 957 players went to a new team, 38 players withdrew and went back to their original team, what happened to everybody else? Well, we don't know. There are players who put their name in the transfer portal, and they just kind of did whatever, you know. So that's one of those things. We there's some data that we actually don't know about what happened to the other remaining players. Like, yeah, we don't actually know. All right. Now, is that helpful? Is that like annoying? Yes. However, it is what it is. For example, I'm gonna give y'all an example of a player who entered the transfer portal last year. For as far as I can tell, has not gone to a new squad, and no true idea what she's doing now. And that is Chanel Reed. Chanel Reed was a player who played at SMU in the 2023-2024 season. She entered the transfer portal. She did not withdraw. She did not join a new squad. Instead, her name was just in the portal, just there. When I look at this season for Chanel Reed, it says nothing. So I'm not sure. So as far as I can tell, she did not go to a new college, or at least a new Division I college that I can find. And there's no new update. So there's a lot of players that enter the transfer portal that are in a similar position where they did not find a new squad. They did not withdraw. They just sort of disappeared from the sports landscape, at least the Division I sports landscape. And this year, so that was last year. Okay. Yeah. Y'all got it for last year. That was last year's data. Now for this year, the transfer portal is not over. Guys, the transfer portal is not over. We'll go through some of the dates that you all need to know in just a bit, but I just want to walk through what we've seen so far for this year. So far, we've seen 1,403 players enter the portal. All right, 1,403 enter. Now, that's quite a bit of people, right? It is more than last year, and it is more than 25% of the players eligible for women's college basketball, or the players that are playing women's college basketball. So it's kind of wild. It's kind of wild how many players have actually entered the portal. Yes, it is an increase of last year, not by a crazy amount, but it's an increase. It's an increase of last year. We got a super chat. Whoa, Jay, wow. Salute to you, Jay. Wow, thank you so much for the super chat. Wow, I really appreciate it. Wow. Jay has flabbergasted me. Like, I am flabbergasted. Wow. Thank you. Thank you, Jay, for the support of the channel. I really do appreciate it. I really, really, really do appreciate your support. It truly, truly means a lot. All right. Guys. Yeah, I truly, truly do appreciate y'all super chats. Like, it really is something that y'all don't have to do. But if y'all do it, I greatly appreciate it. It really does help the channel out a whole lot. All right. So, of that 1,403 transfers that who have currently entered their names into the transfer portal, 351 of those players have already found new schools. All right. And we've talked about some of the players that have already found a new school, like Tanaya Latson going to South Carolina, Samaya Smith going. We talked about her last year. Yeah, we talked about her yesterday and her going to University of Virginia. Like there's a lot of players who have already found their new squads. Right? They already found their new squads. We've talked about some of those players. And so it's 351 who have already found a new place. Now, they still have a long time to go to actually make a decision about where they're going, but the longer you wait, the more spots get filled and so on and so on and so forth. Okay? And of that 1,403 players who have entered the transfer portal, we saw 22 who have already withdrawn. So 22 was like, actually, you know what? I don't want to be in this transfer portal. Psych. I want to come back. And they are returning to their squad. And this was last updated as of yesterday. Now, credit to On3. On3 is probably the best source I have seen when it comes to accurate information about the transfer portal on the women's side. Yes, there are other people who are doing it as well, but I think the On3 has the best portal tracker. Talia Goodman is doing a really good job of just making sure she knows what's going on and putting in where players are going. And I find that very helpful. So she last updated this yesterday at 3 p.m. Eastern time. Now, what I thought would be helpful is all of these numbers, it feels a bit blah. Like you don't really know where to place it, right? You don't really know where to place it, and you don't really know what this means for the actual teams. And so I wanted to actually just go through the names in the portal and actually just categorize it. So that's what I did. All right. So this is a specific look at the ACC conference. All right. The ACC conference, this is a specific look at them to just let you all know specifically how many players these teams have in the transfer portal. All right. To kind of give you a better idea. All right, so we start with Boston College. Boston College leads the ACC with 9 players in the transfer portal. We have Duke, who has 4 players in the transfer portal. Also, guys, if this is helpful, let me know. Today, I'm just doing a deep dive into the ACC. But if this is helpful, I will do the other conferences. So let me know. Let me know in the chat if this is actually helpful for the other conferences. All right. So again, Boston College has 9 players in the transfer portal. And a thing to note, guys, is that they also have 3 of their players who are already found new homes. So for Boston College, I would probably say one of their best players was Tiana Todd, who was a junior this past year, 6-foot guard. She averaged 13.7 points a game and shot 46% from the 3. She has entered the transfer portal and she has committed to Ohio State. So she's going to Ohio State. Kayla Ivey has entered the transfer portal. She's going to Rutgers. And Kayla Lazima is headed to Hampton. So they have 3 players who have already committed to other programs already for Boston College. The other players, I guess, are still trying to find a new squad to ultimately go to. All right. Let's continue on. Next up, we have Duke, who has 4 players in the transfer portal. Now, we all know Duke. I talked about in the past 2 of the bigger names that entered the transfer portal in Vanessa De Jesus and Oluchi Akanawa. Both of those players are, in my opinion, the biggest names that have entered the transfer portal. So far, no one at Duke has found a new place as of yet. All right. No one has found a new place as of yet for Duke. Okay, continuing on, Florida State has 6 players who have entered the transfer portal. Of course, we know the biggest name for Florida State is Tanaya Latson, who has committed to South Carolina. But we also have Marina Valenzuela. Actually, nope. They also have a player who had transferred to Seton Hall as well. I'm going to butcher that last name, and I don't want to do that. Okay. So 2 players have already committed to new squads for Florida State, but they did get 6 players to enter the transfer portal. And we just go down the list from here. Georgia Tech with 7, Louisville with 3, Miami with 3, NC State with 3, North Carolina with 1, Notre Dame with 4. There's been a lot of people talking about like the mass exodus of Notre Dame's roster, and I just want to like clear up the fact that it's not all due to the transfer portal. They did lose, key players to the WNBA, right? But yeah, it's not as big of an exodus as I feel like some people are like making it seem for Notre Dame in terms of the transfer portal. Now, yes, they're going to be a very different squad next year, absolutely. And it's a mix of the transfer portal and the WNBA. For Notre Dame, I just want to go through this real quick because I feel like this is like a bigger name team. Kate Koval has already committed to LSU. Emma Reish has already committed to Florida State. Kylie Watson has just committed to Villanova. And Olivia Miles, as we know, has committed to TCU. All right. Let's continue on. We have Pitt that has 4 players in the transfer portal. SMU has 8. Stanford has 2. Virginia has 6. Virginia Tech has 3. Wake Forest has 5. Cal has 5. And Clemson has 1. All right. Now, again, these are players who have entered the transfer portal for these various schools. Not everybody who has entered the transfer portal has found a new squad because, as we just talked about, there is 1,403 players in the transfer portal, and of that, only 351 players have found a new squad. So there's a lot of players who are still talking to schools, still trying to figure out where they're going to go. All right. And if you all are wondering, okay, well, how much longer do players have? How much longer do they have to make a selection? Well, they don't have much time in terms of entering the transfer portal. So I have seen the reported date for the women's basketball transfer window ending. I have seen a lot of people say a lot of different dates. I have seen people say April the 22nd as the final date. I have seen people say April the 23rd as the final date. I feel like I may have possibly said both in the past. Is because there's slight confusion with the men's and women's team because they have different days. So here is officially from the NCAA. This is from the NCAA. And I just want to share this to actually share like first-hand information from the NCAA about the dates. So hopefully y'all can read this, but this is the official Division I transfer window for the NCAA. All right, and if you look in the winter section, at the top, of course, is the men's basketball, which started on March the 24th and ends April the 22nd. And for the women, it started on March the 25th and it ends April the 23rd. I have seen people report that April the 21st or 22nd was the cutoff for women for women basketball players entering the transfer portal. That is not true. It is April the 23rd for the final date. And this is officially from the NCAA. This is their graphic. This is not my graphic. Okay? Just to show that like this is the real information. So the final day for women's college basketball players to enter their name in the transfer portal is April the 23rd. All right. Hopefully, you all can see that information. I hope that is helpful to see. So again, here is it bigger. Here, I just clipped it out and made it bigger. So the end date, the final day for men's college basketball is April the 22nd. For women's is April the 23rd. Okay? April the 23rd. Hopefully this is a bigger graphic for y'all to see. So what this means is that if a player wants to enter the transfer portal, they have to enter by this date. So on April the 23rd, they got to put their name in the hat. If they don't put their name in the hat, they will not be in the transfer portal. All right? They will not be in the transfer portal. Now, a thing to note is that there may be some confusion by people thinking, oh, if a player doesn't have a new team by April the 23rd, then they're messed up. No, that is not true. Players have to enter their name in the transfer portal by the final day of April the 23rd. They have to enter their name in. However, they don't have to commit to a new squad by that time. The sooner the better. The sooner the better. But they don't have to enter their name by that time. If y'all have questions, put it in the chat and I'll try to answer it. Okay, I'll try to answer it. Thank you so much, Tylisa, for the super chat. Says Quita for ESPN. I don't think they'd want me. And also, I probably have to move. Don't they have their main studio in is it Bristol, Connecticut? I want to say. I probably would move for that, probably, but that'd be a rough move to go from Chicago to Connecticut. Just saying. Angie, thank you so much for the super chat. Really do appreciate you. Salute to y'all for those super chats. Thank you. This is this is fun. Again, let me know if y'all have any questions. I will try to I will try to get to your questions if I can. All right. So hopefully this makes sense. And again, if it doesn't, please put a question in the chat. All right. Journey is asking, so after 423, a transfer has to sit out a year? ? Yes. So if you enter the transfer portal, after that period, you will have to sit out a year if you want to transfer. Yeah. I'm 99.2% sure that that's the case. Or at least that was the case in years past. And I'm fairly certain that's the case this time around. If a coach leaves, that's not the case. So the NCAA has some special rules around that. So if the head coach of the team leaves, then players have X amount of days to enter the transfer portal, and that'd be fine. So if a new head coach gets fired after April the 23rd, then those players will have the ability to enter the transfer portal and go somewhere and play right away. All right. They will have that opportunity. And I am just double checking my work, because again, I'm 99.2% sure that is true. But let me just make sure real quick. And again, I thank y'all so much for rocking with me. Thank you for your questions, your comments. Make sure to hit that like button while y'all are in the chat. Hit that like button again. It really does help the channel out a whole lot, guys. All right. So I'm looking up transfer portal Rules, coach leaves. All right. Apologies, guys. I am just double checking my work. Double checking. Okay. Actually, let me just share my screen. That might be better. Because again, I want y'all to get as much first party data as possible. So just don't take my word for it. Take the NCAA's word for it, because they're the ones who are in charge of all this stuff. Okay. It is they're the ones who create all the rules, and they are the ones in charge. So let me share my screen. Again, apologies. I should have anticipated that question, and I should have had a graphic for it, but I did not. But I found it. I found it, and we'll go through it real quick. All right. I hope that this is big enough. All right. I hope this is big enough. If not, let me know. If not, let me know. Okay. So. Okay. Now, there was a specific line in here about the coach. Let me just do find coach. Here we go. It says, there will continue, hopefully y'all can see this, there will continue to be exceptions to the legislated transfer window, including for the departure of a head coach or a discontinued sport. All right. So there is exceptions for players who enter the transfer portal, or for players who head coach leaves, or if someone's at a school and the school ends up discontinuing their sport, they can transfer, and there's an exception on that front. All right. Hopefully that's helpful. I don't know if it is, but again, let me know. All right. We got another super chat. Thank you so much, Avery, for the super chat. Thank you. Thank you so much for your support. Really do appreciate it. All right. Now, guys, a thing to know that there are several players who we are still waiting on, like several top players who we're still waiting on to see where exactly they land. Now, while we all know about the fact that Mylasia is in the transfer portal and like she's a big deal and we don't know where she's gonna go. There's a lot of question marks of like ultimately where she ends up going. But she's not the only top player who we're still waiting on, right? Gina Kapanis has entered the transfer portal as well. Kippens. Gianna Kippens has entered the transfer portal. She played at Utah this past year. She was a baller for Utah, averaged around 19 points a game, shot around 50% from the field. She's a 6-foot guard. She has entered the transfer portal. We don't know exactly where she's going. Yarding Garzone entered the transfer portal for Indiana. We'll see ultimately. Actually, no. She committed. She is going to Maryland. Sorry. Yarding Garzone is going to Maryland from Indiana. Janiyah Barker is in the transfer portal. We'll ultimately see where she goes. Remember, she played at UCLA this past season. Sarah Williams is a big name that a lot of people are talking about. She's a 6'2" forward from Wisconsin. She was absolutely fire this year, averaged around 16 points a game, 8 rebounds, 2.3 blocks a game. Like she has been really great for Wisconsin. She has entered the transfer portal. There's a lot of top-notch teams who would want to have her on their squad, and we'll ultimately see where she ends up going. But a lot of talk about the transfer portal. But basically, what I wanted to do was give an opportunity for y'all to kind of see the trajectory of the transfer portal. How many people are currently in it? What happens to the people who are out of it, and yada yada. So that's my thing. All right. Let's see. Jamal says, let's be honest, if I had to choose, I'm choosing LSU over Connecticut. Let's be for real, gang. And LSU got that NIL bag as well. I mean, yeah, if you're looking for money, yeah. I mean, LSU has it. Will they spend it? Depends. I know that they allegedly were not willing to spend that money for Aaliyah Chavez coming in as a freshman. So, we'll see. We will see. Millhouse says, is TCU over Notre Dame now? We got to wait till the rest of the transfer portal pans out. Because there's a whole bunch of holes that Notre Dame has right now, and we got to figure out exactly how they fill them. TCU is working though, getting some good players in the dough. They are working, getting some good players in the dough through the transfer portal. However, before we say TCU over Notre Dame for sure, we gotta see what other moves Niele Ivey ends up making for her squad. Kentucky Rick says, talking about bigs, TCU has added 6'7", 6'7", 6'5". Yeah, there's a lot of tall players in women's college basketball, and hey, TCU they got to catch them all. Pokemon, gotta catch them all. Anyway. And if y'all are curious about the height of the players, they got Kennedy Basham from Arizona State. She's 6'7". They have Clara Silva, who is 6'7". They have Marta Soares, who's 6'3". They got some height. They have some height on them. It's not official where she's going. I'm not sure. As of right now, she still does not have a squad. For those who don't know, she's a 6 foot. Medina's a 6'6" center, from Mississippi State. We don't know where she's going. She could go to South Carolina. I mean, South Carolina needs some height. They need some height, so that would be smart. But as of right now, we don't know. We don't know. Frank says Chavez kind of overrated to me. Yeah. I think. I think a lot of stuff is revealed when you see a player play against top talent, not just like not just teams in their area, but like overall top talent. And I think that's a thing. I think that is a real thing. And Chavez is very, very good, but is a very, very high volume shooter. Okay? And, defensively, she's not that great. And if other teams are very physical with her, I do think she struggles a little bit. So that's a thing. That's a real thing. So yeah. I think it was smart, personally. I think it was smart, all the teams that were like, actually, no, we're not gonna pay you all this money when you haven't proven yourself. Like, I get it. Danny says, as far as current proven players aside from Sarah and AZ, UConn at the most has Ashland off the bench for offense as of right now. I mean, they got KK. They got they have some good talent. They got some good talent. Celeste says Chavez is going to get a reality check in college. I think you're right. I think you're right, because women's college basketball is way more physical than high school basketball. And you got to play some defense. Or your offense has to be so amazing that a team is going to deal with your terrible defense. So, that's something. That is something. Journey says, is Chavez similar to Fulwali? No. I think Malaysia is way more athletic than Chavez. Way more athletic than Chavez. I mean, what do y'all think? They're both guards who get to the rim. They're both guards who are flashy, but like, I think Malaysia is way more athletic. All right. Okay. Has USC picked up any new players? Well, let's look at the portal and see. Let's look at the portal and see. So we have Kara Dunn, who is going to USC. She's a 5'11" guard from Georgia Tech. This past year, she averaged 15.5 points a game and 5.8 rebounds a game. She has committed to USC. As of right now, that is the only player that has committed to USC. All right? That is the only player. We'll see who else ends up going there. We will see. Yeah, Tisha. Yep. All right, guys. Well, Chanel says, Quita, I think Janiyah would be a great fit for LSU, but all of that rah-rah she was talking during the Elite Eight makes it so unlikely. Yeah. She was taking that LSU battle personal. Like, she was, yeah. It'd be funny if she ended up at LSU. That'd be pretty funny. But yeah, I don't think LSU is even on her radar. At least from like how serious she was about trying her best to beat LSU. I'd be surprised. I'd be surprised if she ends up picking LSU. But I'm very curious to ultimately see where Janiyah ends up. Again, I really do think that UCLA move was a bad fit. I felt like all year they didn't really have a real role for her. It was just sort of like throw her out there and see what she does. And I think Janiyah is a very talented player. I think she can be, or she is, a starter in women's college basketball and can be a big deal for whatever team gets her. So, Catherine says, has anyone noticed that Malaysia never wrote a goodbye? I love the fans' letters that I'm entering the portal. Yeah. We haven't seen one. I mean, that could be that maybe she's waiting to write one once a school gets announced that she's going to, or maybe she just doesn't want to, While we have seen a tradition of players usually writing very lengthy letters, while we have seen that, it's not a requirement, right? And I personally wouldn't read too much into that. Yeah. I think we'd have to see that plus other stuff to make me think that there's something to that. But maybe she just is not a writer. Maybe she just doesn't want to say anything. I don't know. Ernest says, I saw her post one. You did? Where? Let me search up all her socials. Let me search up all her socials and see. I don't see one. Yeah, I didn't see it. I didn't see a farewell thing. Maybe she posted it as a story or something. I didn't see one. Did anyone else see one? Yeah, I didn't see one. So I don't know. You just Ernest said Ernest saw one, but I didn't see one. Yeah, she could be waiting. She could just not want to write one. That's fine. All right, guys. I think that's the stream. I think we are going to cut it off here. But again, thank y'all so much for rocking with me. Guys, I want to end with a question. At least I didn't see any responses the last time I asked this. But are y'all interested in seeing how many players are in the transfer portal for the other conferences, not just the ACC, but are y'all interested in seeing them for everybody else? If so, let me know, and I will try to do that for tomorrow. If not, I won't worry about it, and I'll talk about something else. Again, just let me know. It's very, very crucial that you all, kind of inform me on what y'all are interested in. And one of the things is I'm interested in everything. So that's why I ask for feedback so much, because I'm literally interested in everything. And I can't do all the stuff I'm interested in, because if I did, I just put Jay. Why did I do that? I was trying to search Jay to see if Jay was actually put a message in, because if there's a super chat that there's no message to it, I want to actually be able to. But no, it looks like Jay only left the super chat. All right, well, cool. All right, well, that's it. I was going to talk about the WNBA and some of the draft picks and what's going to happen next, but because I started late and because I got to go to work, I cannot do that in this stream. But I really do appreciate y'all so much for rocking with me. Kia says, I'm interested in you making a video about who is on the current WNBA roster, training camp contract, and who do you think is going to make the roster? Yes, I can do that. Yes, I can do that. I can and will do that. The date of me doing that, I don't know. But anyway, thank you for rocking with me. I appreciate y'all so much. Y'all have a great day. This has been Quita in the Mornings. Again, I apologize for being late. Yeah. Anyway, I apologize. Sorry about that. I will talk to y'all soon. The WNBA is about to be starting off soon. Players have already or drafted players have already arrived at their various locations. And we got a lot to talk about. So expect some more videos from me. And expect some more commentary and information about what the heck is going on. Y'all have a good one. I'll see y'all in the next one. Make sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe, tell a friend that Quita Loves Sports is on the internet, guys. We are on our road to 50,000 subscribers. Help me out by hitting that subscribe button. Again, it helps the channel out a lot. It helps to improve the stature of this channel. So hopefully, when it comes to the future and whatnot for me and this channel, that it looks more impressive to have more subscribers. So make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. It really does help a lot. Y'all have a good day. I love y'all. Most importantly, guys, Jesus loves you and he wants a relationship with you guys. I will see y'all in the next one. See y'all tomorrow because we got a whole lot more to talk about. All right. Have a good one. Bye-bye.